Adrian felt the oppressive humidity of the coastal estate settle on him the moment he stepped off the yacht. Silas Croft was waiting on the dock, a man whose short, powerful build and sun-weathered skin spoke more of a life wrestling the sea than managing a criminal enterprise. His smile was disarmingly warm, but Adrian saw the calculation behind it. They exchanged handshakes, a brief contest of pressure. Adrian was aware of Leo a few steps behind him, a quiet shadow in the periphery, his presence a subtle counterweight to the forced pleasantries. Leo rarely engaged with men like Silas, finding their ostentatious displays of wealth distasteful. Adrian noted that even now, Leo's stillness had a scholarly air to it, a stark contrast to the restless energy of the other men. Silas ushered them toward the sprawling manor, his hospitality as loud and overbearing as the cicadas in the live oak trees. Dinner was a carefully orchestrated affair, the conversation flowing around a centerpiece of grilled grouper and bottles of expensive Napa Cabernet. After the meal, Silas suggested that he and Adrian adjourn to his study for a private bourbon tasting. The suggestion was coded in civility, but it was an undeniable command. The others were shown to their rooms. Adrian met Leo's gaze for a fraction of a second, a silent acknowledgement of the shift in the evening's current. Then he turned and followed Silas, the heavy oak doors of the study closing behind them with a definitive thud. The air inside was thick with the scent of old leather and cigar smoke. Adrian felt the cold weight of the compact Beretta holstered at the small of his back, a familiar pressure. He knew his security team was stationed discreetly around the property, that Silas had no logical reason to risk an open conflict, but an unshakable tension coiled in his gut. He couldn't shake the image of Leo, alone in his room, waiting. Hours later, as dusk bled across the sky in hues of orange and purple, Adrian and Silas emerged from the study, a tense accord having been reached. Adrian's eyes immediately scanned the grounds, searching. He found him standing under the sprawling branches of a magnolia tree, a tall, elegant silhouette against the fading light. His face was obscured by the shadows, but Adrian could sense the coiled stillness in his posture, a predatory calm that sent a shiver down his spine. Adrian knew with absolute certainty that Leo had been prepared to act. He had been counting the minutes. Leo looked up, his eyes locking with Adrian's. The immense distance of the past few hours collapsed into that single charged glance. Adrian took in every detail of Leo's face, a quick, subconscious inventory to confirm he was unharmed, before Leo's features softened into a polite, distant smile. No one would have guessed the chilling intent that had lurked there moments before. Silas remarked with a laugh that Mr. Hayes must have been waiting for him. Leo's smile didn't falter. He replied smoothly that he was simply admiring the impressive garden. Silas studied him for a long moment, a flicker of recognition in his eyes, and mentioned that Leo looked familiar. Leo deflected with practiced ease, suggesting that Silas might have seen him on a business trip to New York. Before Silas could press further, Adrian stepped forward, subtly blocking his view of Leo, and stated that it was getting dark and they should head inside. The next day was spent on the water. A research vessel, smaller and less stable than their own, cut through the choppy gray waves. Adrian stood on the deck, listening to the project lead, Dr. Evans, explain the geological survey data displayed on a ruggedized tablet. The wind whipped at his shirt, carrying the metallic tang of the sea. A sudden, violent squall descended upon them without. A rogue wave slammed into the side of the vessel, sending it into a violent lurch. The deck umbrella was torn from its mount and flung into the churning water. Instinct took over. In the same chaotic second, Adrian and Leo reached for each other. Leo's grip was like iron, his immediate impulse to pull Adrian behind him, shielding him from the spray. Adrian, however, reacted with equal force, spinning Leo around and pinning him between his own body and the solid steel of the mast, refusing to let the storm tear him away. For a full minute, as the boat pitched and rolled, they remained locked together, a single point of stability in the chaos. When the squall passed as quickly as it had arrived, Leo seemed to realize he was completely encased by Adrian's arms, a human shield against the wind and waves. Adrian's hands were clamped firmly on his arms, an undeniable assertion of possession. They stared at each other for a moment, the sound of the receding storm loud in their ears. Leo was the first to break away, murmuring something about the strength of the wind. Adrian didn't move back, merely lowering his gaze to look at him intently, his voice low as he told him not to wander off. That evening, Adrian found himself swimming laps in the estate's infinity pool, the cool water a welcome relief. Silas had sent 2 women to his suite, a gesture of goodwill that was equal parts obsequious and insulting. Adrian had politely declined, the cloying scent of their perfume lingering in his mind. He was cutting through the water when a subtle shift in the air told him he was no longer alone. He surfaced at the edge of the pool and saw Leo standing by the lounge chairs, bathed in the soft glow of the garden lights. He called out to him, his voice startlingly loud in the quiet night. He asked Leo to time his next lap. It was a whim, a test. He dove back in, the water a silky blue sheath around him. As he swam, he was intensely aware of Leo's eyes on him. A fragmented memory surfaced, distant and hazy. A high school championship meet, the roar of the crowd, the sting of chlorine. He'd found a small bouquet of white peonies and pink hydrangeas in his locker afterward with a simple and signed card that read good luck. He'd been preoccupied, and in a moment of casual cruelty, had given the flowers to a girl who had just confessed her feelings to him, telling her thanks, but not to send them again. He had never known who they were really from. He finished the lap and looked up at Leo, demanding to know his time. Leo hesitated, a flicker of guilt in his eyes, and then recited a number. Adrian smirked, calling his bluff. He knew Leo hadn't clicked the stopwatch. He had been watching, not timing. The raw, unguarded honesty in Leo's gaze as he admitted it was captivating. It was a crack in the perfect, impenetrable composure he always maintained. He asked for something to drink, and Leo brought him a bottle of chilled water. As Leo knelt by the pool's edge to hand it to him, Adrian braced himself on the side and drank directly from the bottle while it was still in Leo's hands, forcing him closer. He watched the color rise in Leo's cheeks, felt the slight tremor in the hands holding the bottle. He told Leo they should go directly to Finch Island after this, skipping the planned debrief in the city. He saw the question in Leo's eyes and clarified that the others had work to do. He was inviting Leo to a vacation, just the 2 of them. Later, as they walked back toward the guest villas, Adrian asked him to come inside his suite. Leo, despite the palpable tension between them, politely refused, saying it was late. Adrian watched him walk away, a mixture of frustration and fascination churning within him. The final day at sea, aboard the state-of-the-art research vessel Explorer, started under a deceptively calm sky. By late afternoon, as they were wrapping up the data collection, Leo approached him, his expression grim. A single look was all it took for Adrian to understand. The ship was off course, heading for a treacherous stretch of coastline with poor signal reception. Without a word, Adrian had Dr. Evans escorted to the lower decks. The ship was compromised. His first and only thought was Leo. He grabbed his arm, pulling him toward the entrance of the primary secure cabin. a reinforced panic room that could detach from the vessel in a catastrophic event. Leo dug in his heels, his voice a low, urgent whisper, telling Adrian to go alone. The cabin's life support was limited. It couldn't sustain 2 people until rescue. Adrian was momentarily stunned by the sheer insanity of the argument. He shoved Leo toward the open door, but Leo was faster, more cunning. In a blur of motion, Leo twisted out of his grip, using Adrian's own momentum against him, and slammed him against the bulkhead. Before Adrian could react, a rope was being looped around his wrists, tied with a series of brutally efficient knots. The raw shock gave way to a cold fury. He was stronger, but Leo was fighting with a desperate, feral intelligence Adrian had never witnessed. He lunged, pinning Leo beneath him, his hand closing around Leo's throat. He ordered him to untie him. Leo just shook his head, his eyes blazing with a terrifying, resolute light as he finished securing Adrian to a support strut. He told Adrian not to come out no matter what he heard. Adrian's threats, his appeals to logic, their business partnership, all of it washed over Leo without effect. Leo pushed a spare magazine of ammunition into Adrian's jacket pocket, his face a mask of grim determination. He said he would initiate the detachment sequence from the outside. Then he was gone, the heavy steel door of the secure cabin sliding shut, sealing Adrian in darkness and a terrifying, echoing silence. He heard the first gunshots moments later. The 30 minutes that followed were the longest of his life, a torment of muffled shouts, the percussive blasts of gunfire, and the agonizing sound of his own ragged breathing. He strained against the ropes, his fury and fear coiling into a single venomous knot. When the emergency release on the door finally cycled open, he burst out into a scene of chaos. He found Leo pinned down behind a piece of machinery, exchanging fire with the last of the hijackers. A wave of indescribable relief washed over Adrian as he pulled Leo back into the shelter of his arms, the scent of cordite and blood thick in the air. He felt the stickiness on his own back and realized he'd been hit, a grazing shot, but his focus was entirely on Leo. They fought together then, a seamless, deadly ballet of 2 bodies moving as one. Adrian's powerful Colt Python and Leo's precise Beretta covered each other perfectly until the deck was silent save for the whir of an approaching helicopter. On the flight back, the adrenaline gave way to a cold, simmering rage. He turned to Leo, who sat silently staring at his hands. Adrian's voice was devoid of emotion. He laid out the facts like a prosecutor. The secure cabin, the extra ammunition, the willingness to sacrifice himself. He felt a profound sense of betrayal, not of loyalty, but of something deeper, something he hadn't been willing to name. He looked directly at Leo, his eyes hard. He didn't ask, he stated it as a fact that you love me. Leo didn't deny it. He just apologized, his voice barely a whisper, and promised that Adrian would never be bothered by him again. The quiet acceptance, the immediate offer to erase himself from Adrian's life, was more infuriating than any lie. Adrian's control snapped. He demanded to know how Leo would prove this love he was so quick to throw away. He was tired of games, of secrets. He leaned in and kissed him, a hard, punishing kiss meant to shatter the careful walls Leo had built. It was a claim, a statement of ownership. When he pulled back, he told him that was how you prove it. Leo, breathless and stunned, asked if he could pursue him. The question was so absurd, so formal, that Adrian almost laughed. But he saw the desperate sincerity in Leo's eyes. He needed this. He needed the structure of it. Adrian felt a shift inside him, the anger receding, replaced by a dizzying sense of power and a terrifying vulnerability. He admitted that he had feelings for him, too, feelings that were likely stronger than Leo could imagine. But he added that what Leo did, the choice he made on the boat, had terrified him. He informed him that his forgiveness would have to be earned. He had to pursue him truly and completely. In the days that followed, Leo did just that. He was a constant, steady presence, anticipating Adrian's needs with an unnerving prescience, yet always maintaining a respectful distance. One evening, after a charity gala, Adrian found Leo's car waiting in a discreet corner of the parking garage. When he opened the door, Leo was smiling, his hand outstretched. Instead of getting in, Adrian pulled Leo out of the driver's seat and onto his lap in the back, the door clicking shut behind them. The space was suddenly charged, intimate. He asked him if this was how he had sat on him when he'd tied him up in the secure cabin. Leo's face flushed. Adrian leaned in and bit his neck, not hard enough to break the skin, but enough to leave a mark, a brand. He felt a tremor run through Leo's body, a quiet sound of surrender. He asked, his voice a low murmur against Leo's skin, if he would still let him touch him, even if he never accepted his pursuit. Leo's answer was a choked, immediate yes. That night, in Adrian's penthouse overlooking the city, they came together with a desperate, pent-up intensity. It wasn't gentle. It was a raw, frantic collision of two people who had almost lost everything. Afterward, as Leo lay sleeping, Adrian watched him, the city lights painting patterns on his skin. He felt a profound sense of peace settle over him for the first time in years. In the morning, he woke to find Leo's hand held up, shielding his eyes from the sliver of sunlight piercing the curtains. He had been holding it there for who knew how long, sacrificing his own comfort for Adrian's. In that small, selfless gesture, Adrian understood everything. He reached out and took Leo's hand, lacing their fingers together. He had been given a rare, unconditional devotion. He had no intention of ever letting it go. He leaned over, his lips brushing Leo's ear as he whispered the words he had said in the hazy aftermath of their lovemaking the night before, the words Leo had pretended not to hear.